Hello and thank you for joining us on the midweek edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozugbakun. Today on the program, APC PDP disagree as Supreme Court declares Hope Uzodinma governor of Imo State. And later on the show, Southwest governors plans legal action as federal government declares Operation Amoteku illegal, unconstitutional. I'll be hanging out with Janet Mba Afolabi and Mayor Akipelu. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us once again. It's Armed Forces and Remembrance Day celebration in Nigeria, and our thoughts go out to the country's fallen heroes and their families. Mayor, 50 years after the Civil War, even our soldiers, those that have fought in the Civil War, and those that we lost, they call them our past heroes, our fallen heroes.
Yeah, we should be grateful and thankful to them, because a lot of them laid down their lives for Nigeria to be one unified country, and many of them are still battling terrorism and other problems, especially in the Northeast. And so we are thankful to them, and we also remember the departed souls in our prayers, because you cannot thank our armed forces enough. Without them, the freedom that we take for granted may not be there.
Janet.
Yes, many of our soldiers have died, and many more are still dying because they are trying to secure the country and save it from terrorism. It is also an opportunity to look into the plight of soldiers, those are wounded, those that are incapacitated, those that are still suffering from one illness or the other, and also look at the welfare, especially for those who are fighting in the Northeast. It is very, very important for them to be motivated.
All right, let's also, Mayor, let's also congratulate Janet on her emergence as the Queen following the appointment of her husband as the Alakpomo of Akpomo in Osun State. And the coronation will be coming up on the 8th of February 2020. So officially, Janet is now the Queen of Akpomo.
No, Olori.
Olori,
yes.
Okay.
Because Yoruba is the language of the gods.
Okay.
So it's superior to any other language.
Okay.
So we don't use Queen, we call them Olori.
Olori, okay.
Yes.
Olori,
and I want to congratulate my friend. We've been friends for a long time. At least now we have somebody in the palace. And I happen to know Akpomo very well. Akpomo is one of the old, very ancient, well-respected towns in Yoruba land. Janet is now a very, very senior Olori. She's the only Olori in the palace. We pray that she will remain the only Olori in the palace. But
so shall it be. So shall it be.
How do you feel, Janet?
Well, sometimes I feel like it's still a dream, because I didn't expect it. I never ever thought I'll be an Olori of a kingdom like Akpomo. So I see it as an opportunity to impact on the lives of the women and the children. And the place needs a lot of development. I'll join hands with my husband to bring development to the place. So
on behalf of the crew, JH crew, I want to congratulate you and wish you the best of luck.
And I'm inviting you to come
for the coronation, to Akpomo for the coronation. We'll definitely be there. Now, moving on now, the decision of the Supreme Court to void the election of Governor Emeka Ihedioha of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and declare Hope Uzodinma of the People's All Progressive Congress as the duly elected governor of Imo State is receiving rave of review. The two parties in questions are taking the declaration in two different strides. The Apex Court, in a judgment delivered by Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun, reversed the cancellation of results in 388 polling units on the night of March governorship poll to arrive at that decision. While the PDP described the judgment as a sad commentary on the country's democracy, the APC restated its faith in the judiciary to restore the stolen mandates. Let's hear from the parties.
Election. And it is a collective thing. It is a day of celebration for Senator Hope Uzodinma and his political party, All Progressives Congress. He came out third in the Imo State governorship election conducted in March 2019 with 96,458 votes, but now the Supreme Court has declared him the duly elected governor of Imo State. The Supreme Court consolidated the appeals filed by the All Progressives Grand Alliance and its governorship candidate, as well as the All Progressives Congress and its governorship candidate, and ruled on them as one appeal. In a brief judgment read by Justice Kudirat Kekere Ekun, the 7-member panel of the Justices of the Supreme Court held that all votes due to Senator Hope Uzodinma, unlawfully excluded from 388 polling units, should be added to his votes. The Apex Court ordered INEC to withdraw the certificate of return issued to Emeka Ihedioha and issue a fresh certificate to Mr. Uzodinma as governor of Imo State.
Election petition was about exclusion of votes from 388 units. The total votes amounting to 213,695 votes. This has been the case. And we thank God Almighty today that the Supreme Court saw the point we are making. That it is not a complaint about unit, but a complaint about collation of results.
Meanwhile, Uche Nwosu of the Action Alliance had earlier withdrawn his appeal challenging the victory of Emeka Ihedioha as governor of Imo State.
To withdraw the appeal in deference to the earlier decision of the Supreme Court voiding the nomination of my client with regards to the election.
The Supreme Court adjourned to 20th January to deliver judgment in the Kano and Sokoto governorship election appeal.
According to the fact, there were conciliations of results, there were declaration of inconclusiveness and a second election. We argued our appeal today, and the court reserved judgment till 20th, next Monday.
The court says judgment in the appeals from Bauchi, Plateau and Benue states will be given at a later date.
After the verdict of the Supreme Court, that is the end of the road for Governor Emeka Ihedioha, because he can only wait till 2023 before anything can be done. Gentlemen, Mayor.
I want to start that I am a believer in democracy. And the foundation of democracy is the rule of law. And when the Supreme Court makes a pronouncement on anything, it's final. We have to respect our judiciary. That's the way it goes. And because I've read a lot of things, a lot of sentiments have been expressed, especially on social media, and law does not work that way. It is the relief that you seek from court, that the court sits on and look at. Because the issue, why the Supreme Court came to the conclusion was because Uzodinma argued that votes that were collated in those 388 units were not accepted by INEC. And because of that, he was denied the opportunity to have won the election. And the Supreme Court seems to agree with him, to say, look, these votes that you did not accept, which was lawfully cast, should be added to the existing votes. That's why people don't answer, because I've read this, a lot of stories where people will say, how can somebody that came third or somebody that came fourth, how can the person ended up being the winner? It is the relief that is seek in court. If, for example, the other party must argue in court to say those votes from the 388 polling units were not lawful, it is when it is not lawful that it will not be accepted. But immediately they cannot prove that
Uzodinma was able to prove his case
that, look,
at the Supreme Court.
Some people voted for me in these units, 388 units.
My stronghold.
And they were cancelled by the collation officer. And because it was cancelled, they were excluded from the total votes cast for me. And I think it is wrong. So I want the Supreme Court to allow to accept those votes that were cast for me in these polling units. And that is how I became governor. So that is the way it is. Ihedioha had enjoyed being a governor for about 6 months. That's a bonus for him. But in the face of the law, he never became the governor of Imo State.
Now, the 7-man panel upheld the appeal filed by Uzodinma on the ground that Ihedioha of the PDP did not score the majority of the lawful votes in that election. If you, the composition, the lead judgment was read by Justice Kekere-Ekun. Justice Kekere-Ekun. We also have Justice Sylvester Nguta there. We just have the Chief CJN himself, Tanko, Justice Tanko there, and Justice Ariwola. These people, there were 7 in number, and that read this judgment. They're saying that it did not have the spread.
Yes, it was said that Ihedioha did not have the spread. What is the spread? The spread is that you should have 25% in every local government, and then two-thirds
around the 28 local governments
of the state, which Ihedioha did not have. But Hope Uzodinma had the 25%, and he also had the spread, because the 388 units that were not added, that were excluded by INEC, when they were added up, came to about 213,000 plus, and that gave him the percentage needed to win the election.
Added to his
the one
96,000 votes.
Yes. So that now gave him the spread and the percentage. For me, I think that the judgment is a way of deepening democracy. It's also a way of acting like a check on INEC, because if INEC is alleged to have excluded and then declared Emeka as governor, then the Supreme Court,
after a polling agent, electoral officer might have signed.
They've signed.
Everybody has signed.
The polling units.
Yes. Everybody.
And he got to the word polling unit, and the people, they just said no, they're setting it aside.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying, that the Supreme Court has now acted as a check.
So INEC cannot even act arbitrarily.
Yes, because the evidence are there. Law and justice is based on merit and evidence. If you can prove it, it is not based on sentiment. And that's why we should look at this issue dispassionately. What is it about? What are the facts of the matter? Let us see it and argue it based on facts and not sentiment. Because it is understandable that PDP will react the way they have reacted. They can call it any name, because they have lost a state. That is the bottom line. The loss is now an automatic addition for APC. APC has acquired a new state, and that is more victory for APC. So at some point, some people will be bitter. There is no doubt about it. When people lose and when people win, there will be bitterness, there will be joy. So when it comes to bitterness, there's a way that you should handle it, that it should not lead to hatred. But for me, I think that the Supreme Court has acted like the last hope of the common man, and we should respect that judgment. Remember that the tribunal upheld the governorship of Emeka, and the Court of Appeal also upheld it. But the Supreme Court upturned it.
There was a dissenting voice in the Court of Appeal.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a dissenting voice on one of the judges.
Yes,
on that basis.
Even when you look at the Supreme Court, that's not that there are precedents. Wike lost at the tribunal. Governor Wike lost at the tribunal. He lost at the appeal court. But he won in the Supreme Court, his own governorship election in Zamfara. When the Supreme Court said APC, in the face of the law, did not have any candidate, and the man that lost, the candidate, the present governor now, that was for a PDP candidate, and they said a PDP candidate should be across board in Zamfara. Nobody complained then about the Supreme Court.
From the House of Assembly,
that's what I'm saying,
down to the Senate,
one thing that I'm saying is that when there's a judgment that suits to suit our aspirations, then the Supreme Court is the hope of the common man. But when it doesn't suit, but that's when people will say, oh, this judgment, we cannot explain it. Because I've read so many things and people saying, how can you? But it's still in law, when you look at the facts.
On ground.
Because the bone of contention that Opposite was able to prove was that, look, that was an exclusion. And the INEC's argument was that there was violence and irregularities. And they canceled votes in those polling units. And they were saying, look, this thing has been, with votes were cast, the agent signed. So how did you now come about violence, and because of that you are excluding those votes? So that was the key. Immediately, the Supreme Court, in their wisdom, decided that those votes were lawful. That's it.
And let me just quickly add, for Hope Uzodinma, it's been a tortuous journey to this governorship victory. Remember, he has started from 2003, attempting to be governor,
Yes.
but for one reason, from PDP, he went to AD, that's Alliance for Democracy. From AD, he went back to PDP, you know. So it is like a dream come true. I can imagine
In fact, he joined APC very late.
Yes, I can imagine the celebration. I can imagine how much he must have. So anytime I go to Weri and I see those billboards, hope his billboards are all over Weri. You will see from different angles and say, I keep saying, this man, won't he be tired of running for this governorship? But today it has proved that he's dogged. He has won eventually. I don't know how he's going to celebrate it.
Mayor, now one thing I'm looking at it. Can't this process be faster? Yes, I appreciate the fact that there's a time frame for the tribunal to sit, 180 days, for the Court of Appeal to sit, and the Supreme Court. But give or take now, Emeka Ihedioha has spent like 8 months as the governor of Imo State. One, he has appointed commissioners. He has appointed people into boards and parastatals. And, you know, every other thing that he has done, you know, since this, I saw somebody signing on behalf of Governor-elect Uzodimma now, before that all banks and, you know, organizations must not allow any money to come out of it. So if we have a faster process, all this will have been gotten over with.
Yeah, I agree with you. It could be better. All of us wish that it is faster. But you see, the wheel of justice roll slowly. And it is better for us to delay the process than for us to deny justice to those who seek it. And because you see, the Supreme Court, for example, there's going to be electoral matters from almost all the states. You understand? Then it will go through the tribunal, go through the appeal. So the volume of work,
particularly in this Imo State,
yes,
the number of people that went to court on this
the volume of work
governorship election.
It's so high that it is not humanly possible for them to do it on a very short frame. So that's part of the learning process. We will get to a stage where our elections, the conduct of the elections will be better. There won't be need for people to want to seek justice to overturn elections. So we will not have the workload that our Supreme Court will not be able to cope with. Because like you said in Imo, there was also went to court to say, okay, and they would say, okay, also you claim you were in APC, then you went to get ticket in AA, you have not even left APC officially to get the AK, so you are disqualified. They have to talk about other people before they now were able to do this. So there's something that we have to live with. It's something we have to live with.
Janet, when you look at the road to victory for Hope Uzodimma, and Rochas Okorocha occupied that position for 8 years, and that state, it started from Abga, and that state, and now joined the APC when the APC came, the alliance, the merger came. Now, after that, we thought that naturally there will be a way that Richard would have resolved the crisis that surrounded choosing his successor, his son-in-law and everything. So he was vehemently against the candidature of this Hope Uzodimma. So for Hope to have gotten there now, I think this has changed the political equation in Imo State.
It has changed because the story has changed and power has also changed hands. Okorocha wanted to hand over to his in-law. He wanted to make it look like royalty, that when the father dies, the son takes over. But this different is governance, is election, it's people's money, you know, so it's people's taxes that are being spent to fund the government house. So you don't just take a unilateral decision and say you hand over to your son-in-law. That was not acceptable. And you can see at what played out that he didn't fly. He didn't fly, and that made APC to lose the state at that point. But they have taken it back through justice, which is very good. Justice delayed in this case is not justice denied, and it's better late than never. And we have seen that this is even a bit faster, because some cases that governors would have spent 4 years, the matter is still in appeal courts. They will enter the second tenure, matter is still in appeal courts. So this, for me, although Emeka has tasted what governorship is, and he can tell a story. Well, he's ending on a very painful note. Is unfortunate, but he had been in the House of Rep So it's
Deputy Speaker.
But in the face of the law, it was never a governor.
That's
no,
what
but
happened.
he can't take away the experience he has
Yes,
had.
the experience,
Even if
yes,
the law
he
says he had
enjoyed
never
himself.
been,
It's nice.
but that
He suffered the
experience is
same
already.
fate of Senator Andy Uba.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Andy
Andy
Uba
Uba, yes,
stayed
Andy Uba, yes.
for
Senator
some
Andy Uba, yes, I
days
think
as the
for
governor, as
about a month or so.
Anambra State governor that
yes.
time. So ultimately, what we're looking at here is that we still expect the Supreme Court, to make pronouncement on Kano, Sokoto, Bauchi. A lot of people are saying that this might not be the end to this upset.
Yes, I think so too, because when you look at the way things are playing out in the tribunals, there seems to be a lot of conflicts. So it is easier for the Supreme Court to be able to, because they are more matured, they can look at things in another perspective.
And this judgment was unanimous.
Yes,
all
unanimous.
the 7 judges,
No,
they were on the same
like I said,
page.
when you look at the facts,
Nobody dissented.
when you look at the facts of the case,
So it's not possible.
it's a very simple. It's the fact the issue involved in his own case
Very
is that
simple.
votes were excluded from 398.
Those
units.
my votes that were
Were those
excluded.
votes lawful, or was
No.
it right for them to have been?
And they discovered that it was
cancelled?
lawful.
Yes. So if it
added
was
it to
lawful,
what he had on
that's
ground.
it. And you added to what
So
is
it might
there.
have been number 4 before, or number 3. So added it to number
When you add his new
96.
votes, yes. So-
Immediately from my tabulation.
Yeah, I think we might be, because if you look at a place like Kano, Kano was a very dicey thing, especially the appeal. So both at the tribunal and the appeal. So the Supreme Court might be very interesting in the case of Kano. So
Sokoto too.
Sokoto too. Yes, Sokoto too, because Sokoto was very, very close.
A close race. A close race between
very close
the
race.
PDP
So,
and
yeah, we might see him
the
for
Progressive
surprises,
Congress.
but that's the way the law is.
Janice.
Yes,
What do
we
you
should
expect?
respect the law. Okay, there may still be bombshells, and they may not be. You can't predict the law. They are going to decide based on facts, and we can't start saying this is what will happen. It may lead to prejudice, and we don't want to be charged for prejudice. So let's just wait and see what the outcome would be.
We'll take this break. Still to come, Southwest governors plans legal action as federal government of Nigeria declares Operation Amoteku illegal and unconstitutional. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this time out. Welcome back. It's your multi-award winning program, Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from our headquarters here in Lagos. Now, like two feuding foes, the federal government and the governors in Nigeria's southwest seem to have drawn a line in the sand. Now, all we wait for is who crosses the line first. The bone of contention is the Southwest Security Initiative, popularly called Operation Amotekun, launched last week by the governors to tackle security challenges in the region. The federal government, through the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, declared the outfit as illegal or unconstitutional. In a statement on Tuesday, Malami insists that the setting up of the security outfit runs contrary to the provisions of the Constitution. But the Southwest governors said there's no going back and they might resort to legal action against the pronouncement. We are definitely in for interesting days ahead. Mayor, is it now talking about the Southwest? This is a composition out of 6 states. We have 5 states from the APC, the All Progressive Congress. It's only Governor Seyi Makinde that is from the People's Democratic Party. Now, I expect that since it's a region dominated by people of the same party, in the same party with the federal government, there will be a rapport before the operation, before this thing got to this level. 1. And number 2, for lawyers, they're saying Malami doesn't have such powers that he can at best advise that this should be tested in courts. So the bottom line is that Kai Rifayemi is the chairman of APC Governors Forum, and he has been speaking, and the governor of Ondo State, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, Ogbeni Olarosimi Akeredolu, have been speaking on this issue. What is happening between, the All Progressive Congress?
Let me start by saying that I'm not a fan of Malami, the Attorney General. I believe he has not handled the position of the Attorney General in the way that is heartwarming. If you look at the issue of the MTN case, and the fine that MTN was supposed to pay for infraction. If you look at the Showore case, when he came out to say that, look, I cannot compare the SS to release Showore, despite the fact that there was a binding court order. And later, because of pressure, he changed his mind. In this case, I think it's wrong again. In fact, wrong. And I'll tell you the reason. One, the governors are the chief security officers of their states. Two, there is a threat, a direct threat in the southwest. Some S-men bandits invaded the southwest. And then they made it so difficult for people to travel from Akpomu, the kingdom of our Olori, down to Gbongan. Then you take it in Osun to Efon-Alaye, in Efon-Alaye, in Ekiti. When you look at that stretch of roads, they were kidnapping people every day, making people to pay ransom. And it became so serious that the Southwest governor called a conference, a security conference, attended by the Inspector General of Police. The Inspector General of Police was there. They came up with ideas from that conference, and they agreed with a security unit for the Southwest, involving all the governors. And what Malami is, because sometimes I don't know whether Malami understands his role as Attorney General, because you cannot be giving orders that you don't have. He does not have the right. The laws are not making his office. It's to interpret laws on behalf of the federal government. So this is what I is saying that it's unconstitutional. It's just talking, as far as I'm concerned, talking crap. Because the reason is this: when the Southwest governors came together, they formed a security outfit that involves the police, the army, the security, civil defense, and then they now incorporate civilian units like OPC and the hunters. The OPC and the hunters were supposed to be in terms of intelligence gathering. In other words, if somebody kidnaps somebody on a highway, the only way you can take them is to take them to the bush. These hunters have been going through this bush all their lives. So it is easy for them to know what is happening in those bushes. If they see anything untoward, it is their duty to now involve the units in Amotekun to say, oh, the civilian, the military content in that one, both the police and army, can now go and effect arrest or defend or do things. The civilian units there is supposed to be for judge. Nobody is saying that they should bear arms. In fact, if you remember, the Inspector General even warned to say the civilian members of Amotekun that nobody should be seen with arms. We are not saying they should bear arms, because we cannot just put arms in the hands of people that we are not sure and that we are not trained. I agree with that. But for you to say that the people of Southwest do not have the right to defend themselves is preposterous. So that's one. Two, when you look at other parts of the country, there are units that is similar. They may not bear the same name of Amotekun, but something that is similar. If you look at the Northeast, there is the civilian joint task force members, and they even bear arms. Those ones bear arms. You see them, they are local hunters. You see them with their local guns. But because of this critical situation in the Northeast, the army incorporated them. In fact, there was a time, if you remember, that there was a time that Boko Haram killed a lot of them through side bombs and all that. So how can it be legal in one part of the country? And then when the security of another part of the country is threatened, and the governors, it is not individual. It is different thing. If OPC says, oh, we are launching Operation Amotekun, and you can say, look, you are civilians or paramilitary people, you cannot do that. It's a different thing. But the governors of states that were duly elected, who are the chief security officers of their states, came together to say, look, to protect our region against bandits who were coming into our region, let us pool resources together, each person contributing logistics, so that we can then incorporate people who can, because every crime is local. Part of the problem you have, the police have to find out these people, is that they don't even know the terrain, so they don't even know where to look. But the OPC, and if you remember in Ikorodu, during the time of Bado, the police could not handle it until they brought in OPC. And that was why from Ikorodu, that's why they were able to solve the problem in Ikorodu. And they discovered that it was one man that was the godfather of those Bado people. Because people know who is who in the neighborhood and who is doing crime. So it's easier for us to incorporate these people.
Janet, look at this situation now. The Attorney General is saying that, look, we have a constitution in Nigeria that this thing you're about to do is not in tandem with the laid down rules. They can't carry arms, and this outfit was not well thought out and it's illegal.
that is his own view. The view of the governors is that it is legal. But some lawyers are saying the governors have a right to constitute that kind of outfit to protect the state's integrity, territorial integrity against kidnapping and other forms of crime. Itse Sage also has sympathy towards the position of those governors. In fact, he came out to support and said it was in order that states they should not always depend on government for security. However, some security experts have said that the state governors should have gotten proper approval before they went ahead. That is why federal government is now concerned that this may be regional police in disguise. This may be state police in disguise. And if this succeeds in this geopolitical zone, Southwest, other geopolitical zones may also want to copy or duplicate.
In fact, the Southeast is already claiming that the Amotekun idea was their own idea, that the Southwest stole it from them.
But they didn't name it Amotekun. Because Amotekun in Yoruba land means leopard. Leopard, tiger, and lion, they are the same family, and they dwell in the jungle. And these kidnappers also kidnap and take people to the jungle. So the Amotekun are waiting for them in the jungle to come so that they can be devoured. There is, for me, I think it's in order, but they should follow proper process. If there is anything they were supposed to have done right, they should.
Who are they supposed to get the approval from?
Maybe the federal. They know the procedure.
Who is the Inspector General of Police?
The Inspector General of Police was not at the launch. When Amotekun was launched, IG was not there, and he did not know. He was not there.
He was not there. He was there at the conference when they did the conference.
That's the conference.
He has issued a statement supporting it that other regions should do something like that.
Let me tell you, IG was there when they were discussing it. Just like every other Nigerian head when they were discussing it. But nobody said anything until they launched it. When they launched it, IG did not go. IG did not also send a representative, meaning that he's not part of it. And he didn't want to be... He didn't send a representative to the launch.
He commented on it after that to say he recommended what has been done in Amotekun to other regions.
So but he didn't send a representative.
So what exactly is wrong now?
Not all the governors were there. Some Southwest governors were not there because he didn't attend the launch. It's just a launch. It's not as if that he didn't attend the launch does not mean you are against it.
It's a statement.
No, it doesn't mean you're against it because after that he commended it to other states to do that. And
but to what extent? To what extent? Because we are now talking about arms. Carrying of arms.
The civilians will not bear arms.
No, they are going to carry arms.
No, they are not going to carry arms.
That's not clear. The operation of these guys, actually, their modus operandi is not...
still opaque.
No. Let me explain something to you.
Okay.
When it was done, what they said was this. That is the police. It's just like in Lagos. Let me tell you something. Constitutionally, in this country, it is the police that has the right to undo crimes in the cities. But the army has no business with crimes in the city. Constitutionally, they're supposed to get involved with the territorial integrity, defending territorial integrity of Nigeria. Yeah. But when things started getting out of hand, you understand, they co-opt the army into these crime-fighting units to be able to support the police. In this case, the hunters and the OPC were supposed to be for intelligence gathering. They said it in Amotekun. And even the police, they did just 2 days ago. The police people usually released to say that members of the civilian member, before the Attorney General spoke, that members of the Amotekun, civilian members of Amotekun, must not bear arms. That if they see arms with anybody, they will be arrested. They said, the police said that.
They've always been saying that, but these people, we know they carry arms. So what is the source of both OPC and the vigilante? Don't they carry guns? Don't they carry guns? And some of these guns are not licensed. Let me make my point. You see, you mentioned police, and I'm glad that you did. Police is supposed to be the mother and the lead agency for crime fighting. But do you know what has happened to the Nigerian police? The Nigerian police is lean because all these agencies have been taken away from Nigerian police. Custom has been removed from Nigerian police. Immigration has been taken away from Nigerian police. Road safety have been taken away from. And so the police is getting leaner and leaner with very little funding and is drying up. No equipment, no manpower. Because before 1966, let me tell you, in this country, if you go to a police station, you will find a photographer to capture the picture of a criminal. You will find a fingerprint equipment. But today, go to the central criminal record in Alagbon, you don't have one statistics about criminals. That is Nigeria Police Force. If FBI wants to have history of any criminal, they can't have it, because those that have statistics are INEC for voters. Those that have statistics are migration for those that are looking for international passport. And also those that have statistics or data is road safety for those who are looking for driver's license. So tell me, who now has the records of criminal in this country? Is it not supposed to be the Nigeria Police Force? And they do not have it, because the Nigeria Police Force, so many things have been taken away from them. They are helpless. I'm not saying Nigeria Police Force is 100% good, because even in that police, you have those that are collaborating with the criminals. You have those that are supporting them, even renting them guns. We have had reports of how police have been extorting while the kidnappers are kidnapping on the highway. But this Amotekun, they are coming with a united mission that I give to them. Their mission is united. But the police force, the mission is divided. Everybody goes there for different purposes. And that's why they cannot successfully fight crime the way this Amotekun would want to fight crime. But let it be coordinated, so that we don't have too many arms.
It's been done already.
Custom is carrying arms. Obasanjo duplicated Nigeria Police Force by Civil Defense. The Commander General of Civil Defense is now equating himself with the IG, yet is not a service chief. So many things have been done in this country that we need to really sit down and say, what is happening in the security system? There is so much rivalry.
Now, Mayor, bringing it home now, when you look at the inability of the federal government to actually protect its citizens across the country, the crime rates, the level of banditry, it's escalating by the day, and this is kind of will give the federal government kind of assistance in that responsibility.
That is why it is ridiculous for one attorney general that doesn't know what he's doing. Because we have an attorney general that is telling us that it is okay for Nigerian citizens in anywhere they are in the country to live in fear. It is okay for them to be at the mercy of bandits. And we should not do anything about it because he sits in Abuja in his office reading constitution. It's ridiculous. The governor should go to court and tell him that there's a limit to his power as the attorney general. The laws are not making his office. He's not in a position to pronounce that. It is not his job. That's what I'm telling you. The governor should just go to court to say, look, we have the right. In Lagos, which was duplicated in so many states, when there was crime, they started with Operation Sweep. Then Ashwaju now created the IRS. The IRS have people by police, but the funding is straight from Lagos State government. Lagos State has a security trust fund that gives police logistics and running costs every day. Why did you say they cannot give them? Because when you are the security officer of the state and the police is a national body, agreed, they will run that. But the logistics that they need,
funded.
Yes, because they're not well funded, the logistics they do, because what they've done in Amotekun, what have they done in Amotekun? Is the same thing they are doing in Lagos and doing in other states, doing in Oyo, doing in Ogun. What they're just saying is that let each state in these 6 states bring in logistics together. So each state contributed buses will contribute their money for running costs. Then you are going to get police. It's the same police that will still going to assign people to Amotekun in each of those states. It's just like in Lagos. You have police in Lagos, but you have IRS. It's the same police. You understand? But under different commands. And what they are saying in Amotekun is that the same police force, the National Police Force, is what they're still going to send people to Amotekun. The only difference this time is that there will be civilian contact so that they can be able to give them intelligence gathering, which is how it is done. Because part of the problem is that we don't have intelligence gathering process or structure in place. So that is why when kidnappers kidnap and take them into the jungle, you don't even know where they are.
Okay, some people will say civilian JTF and ISBA in the north. That
they are still there.
ISBA is functioning in Kano, some other northern states. Why can't the federal government allow Amotekun?
But they said the civilian JTF is a military that set it up.
No, it's not the military.
That's
because
what
the Borno state government
that set it up.
Yes.
But they are mainly military.
They were working with the military.
The joint.
After some time, some of them
were incorporated
because
because
at that point,
they were hunters.
Yes, the hunters volunteered when the crisis was so much, the terrorism was high. The hunters volunteered that they know the terrain and they could locate the Boko Haram fighters and fight them head on. That was the genesis of that civilian JTF, which they allowed some of them to go to the forest and combat the fighters. So that they have their own arrangement. I've told you that.
No, why is that one legal?
That one is for the state.
Why is that one legal?
You now, see, look at the analysis. That one is one state. It is not northeast states that came together.
Yes.
So the concern, like I said before, is that southwest states have come together to form Amotekun. The civilian JTF is just for one state, Borno State.
Yeah.
It is not the entire northeastern states that came together to form the civilian JTF. So the concern now is this is disguise, regional police in disguise, state police in disguise, and it will also affect the funding of the police in the state.
How will it affect?
You know that most states fund the police, the state
how will it
commissioner.
affect it now?
Because they'll be pumping money into Amotekun. They'll pump it, they'll concentrate, more attention will be given to Amotekun.
They've given each person what you are supposed to contribute.
Wait, you are supposed to contribute, but you may not have enough attention for the states, the federal police, headed by the commissioner of police in the state, which most state governors fund. They give them fleet of cars, they do a lot of things for them, give them welfare, improve their welfare to make sure that the states are secured. But now the interest will be divided. There's no, it's like marrying a second wife. The interest will be surely divided. And this governor, they have so much money through security votes, which they can comfortably fund Amotekun.
Of course.
They will fund Amotekun and reduce the funding for the state police because the state police may not have.
They don't need to reduce funding for the state police.
But you'll not be there when the decision will be taken.
No, they won't do that because
they will not tell you when the decision will be taken.
The Amotekun is also going to be people by police. The commander will be a police officer.
It's not going to be mainly just
so
police.
The problem is just this
OPC.
The structure.
We don't understand what Amotekun is all about. That's what I'm telling you, that the civilian content in Amotekun is just for intelligence gathering. And just 2 days ago, the police, if you remember, it was the PRO in Ogun that first mentioned. If you notice that when he first mentioned what we are talking about now, Are Ona Kakanfo, Gani Adams was on Arise television when he was explaining it to say, look, the IG is involved in this thing. We are carrying the IG along. The IG is involved in it. So how can one PRO in Ogun say why should be civilian and they should not be allowed to do that? These people are not going to bear arms. They're supposed to be for intelligence gathering. But I'm telling you that the major thing we need that will make Amotekun succeed is intelligence gathering. You understand what I'm saying? Because we have police already. The AIG in charge of Southwest is my friend. I know the Air Force, the sleepless night they had to be able to clear that stretch of road from Akpomu to in other parts of, especially in Ekiti, Ondo, they were just everywhere. But that stretch of road from Akpomu to that Ekiti, it was just after Elisha to get to Efonalaye. That stretch of road was just unbelievable. I knew the wahala the man did to be able to clear those people. But what you need, and how did he do? Because he met with all the Obas and chiefs. It's my friend, the AIG in charge. He went with the Obas and the chiefs. He went to each village. He involved the traditional rulers. He involved the head of mosque, the imams. Involved the Christian pastors. You understand? To be able to find a network to say if you hear anything or if you see anything that is, please inform us, the police. And that's how they were able to arrest some of these people. Because it's easier for the civilian people to be able to know, to gather intelligence.
How do we get out of this logjam?
Well, the Ondo State governor has said that there's no going back. They're heading to court. So let's see what the court will say. I don't have any problem with Amotekun so long as Southwest is secured. However, I want to tell Mayor that they can come out to tell you that the civilian members will not carry arms. But remember that they are hunters and naturally they have guns. It may be Dane guns, it may be whatever gun, but they are they have weapons. And because we have so many weapons in this country, and who
circulation.
is training who? Where is the range
be
where
more
they are
careful.
taking people to go and do training? Those are the issues
Well,
that we
basic-
should, no,
basic
I know
questions.
that.
To ask.
The JT, the civilian JT, they can bear arms. Like, that does not constitute danger.
It applies to
the
everybody.
Isba people that
applies
claim
to
they
all
are
of
religious
them.
police in Kano, in Bochi, it's also they can
Mayor, it's an ongoing conversation.
It's not wrong with that one. But when it comes to Southwest now, one Attorney
we have to
General
go.
just woke up and said the man is just a joker.
We have to go. I want to thank you, Mayor Akikpelu. Thank you so much for your contribution today. And Olori Oba, General Bafalavi.
But the Olori, I want to make a complaint. Let me make an official complaint. The Olori is not wearing beads. We don't want people to look at Olori and think she's available.
I tied my head.
And you might not be seeing Janet as often as we used to say, but we are still with you. Wish you the best of luck as you proceed in this responsibility. February the 8th, all roads leads to Akpomo. Akpomo is the headquarters of Ishokon local government in the state of Osun. Yes. What they call it, not Osun, the state of Osun. So I want to thank you so much. Wish you the best of luck. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangouts on our platform showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.